Aloha, lads and gents. Nice to see you again after the first streams, which have been established in the past 1.5 weeks. My name is Julian, and welcome back to another episode of, how is it called actually? Crunch Time. Crunch Time, and here streamed on the channel of A Sense of Capital. So now it's 9:53 p.m. CET in Germany. It's a little bit cozy and rainy outside, quite warm, and yeah, I'm ready for doing this thing, for somehow executing it on a very nice way. Couldn't wait to have the next stream, and very happy now I'm live again. And why it's called again Crunch Time? Because today the financial results will get announced of new holdings, new bank, new insurance, however you want to call it. We're talking about the Brazilian player or Latin American player, you can almost say. But maybe you are already a little bit knowledgeable about this company, about this stock, maybe not. We will jump right into it in a short moment. Before I start with it, first I want to thank all of you for all of you who subscribed and all of you who liked the last streams and who commented. I love the interaction, and I hope, we will somehow make history together, so stay tuned and keep this acting like you're doing it already. Guys, how we should start? We have 5 minutes left. I think the stock exchange in Brazil will close in roughly 5 minutes. Already maybe closed, but maybe we get the results in 10 minutes roughly. So this time I'm actually quite on time, even if you needed to wait a few 1 or 2 minutes in my in the starting stream status, and it's great that we finally can start. Before we jump into what I want to see today, what I expect, I want to tell you just again, that's of course no financial advice what I'm doing here. There's no guarantee for correctness. I'm just a regular dude who do some self-reflection and just share my opinion and my thoughts about, for instance, some stocks like today. And so it's important that you do your own due diligence because it's your own money and your own life in which you need to invest in. Yeah, that's very important that you understand what I'm telling you by this statement. Okay, so let's start to jump a little bit into Nubank. So I hope I can share my screen. It's working. I have a new hotkey, some new settings, so I hope I'm improving in this direction. Let's jump right in. And to jump right in, I think we should start on their website, As I mentioned, some of you maybe heard in the past of Nu, some not. We're talking about a Latin American Brazilian player listed since 2018. Buffett backed, so even Warren Buffett is invested since a few years. And even if, of course, his position compared to overall portfolio and the overall investments he's holding, it's compared quite small. But it's definitely backed by Warren Buffett, which of course is a statement. And let's go on. It's listed, not listed since 2018. I need to correct myself already now. It's listed since 2021. We're talking about a digital banking platform with a B2C focus, so a business to customer focus. So for you and me as private persons, that's the docking station we want to go if we need financial support somehow, if we would be located in Brazil, Colombia or Mexico, where they're active in. And you need to know, before I get a little bit more deeper into the stock topic, Nu Holding, that's the stock name. Nubank is the primary business brand. You need to know that banking is very special in Latin America, so banking over there is developing very quickly, but on another level like here. So in the past, for a lot of the regular citizens, the regular population, it was difficult to get access financial banking to credit cards to investment services, etc. And so you need to know that maybe you are located in North America, in the US, in Canada, maybe you're located in Europe, maybe you're located in some parts of Asia where it's more regular that you have financial platform and financial circumstances which are solid and which support you in your daily life. That's not that regular in Brazil or in Latin America. So there are some established older players and a few financial banks, so fintechs, and Nu is one of them, and definitely one of the strongest, if not the strongest over there. But why they are so strong, what they are providing, as you can see, that's their homepage. They have the traditional bank account business, of course, credit card supply, as you can see here, life insurance on top, cell phone insurance, because you need to know that a key of their success in the past years or past months is that a lot of the humans over there, they didn't have access to Wi-Fi, didn't have access to the www, to the internet, and now a lot of them purchasing smartphones, and therefore they are hungry, you know, they have access to all the information, they have the option actually to use applications, use something like the Nubank app to manage and coordinate their financials. And therefore, of course, the cell phone insurance is somehow catching up there, because a lot of them have new cell phones, have new smartphones, and somehow, of course, they want to make sure it's somehow secured by an insurance. Then, of course, loans business, investments, and yeah, so that's basically the major categories, the major services which Nu Bank and Nu is providing to their clients, to their customer base. All right, so let's go further a little bit deeper. Maybe I just mentioned it now at the beginning. It's my second largest position with roughly 8,000 euros, a little bit more than 8,000 euros, or let's say more than 9,000 US dollars. I initially purchased it not that long ago, actually in March, so roughly 5 months ago, and I'm already up 70%, so it was a quite lucky point in time when I purchased the stock initially. But as you need to know, what's even a little bit more crazy, that the bank, as you can see here, let me check if you can see this now. Yeah, that looks good. The year to date, so since beginning of this year, since January, this stock raised roughly 100%, so from roughly $3.50 to $8, so more than 100%. So that's quite some performance they put in the package and in the pocket. And I'm happy that I could participate somehow a little bit. So that's great as well. Here you can see the development since they have been listed, as I mentioned, in 2021, end of 2021. So they didn't catch up to their IPO price, which was roughly $10.30. Currently they are $8. Let's check quickly what was the performance for today. So as you can see here on investing.com, so not too much volatility. So basically minus 0.25% for today. Maybe that's the calm in advance of the storm, or the signs before the storm. I'm not sure how we tell this in correct English, but yeah, let's see. Oh, now already you can see here the aftermarket is opened for 2 p.m. in located regional time, and the price is already getting a little bit up, so 1%, but I don't think the results have already been released. And if I definitely need to take on the break, because I want to tell you a little bit more about Nu before we start in. As you can see here will be the results will get announced as soon as they are published. So we take a specific eye, of course, on this tab. What else? So let's go back to the chart, and I prepared as well something for you. Hope you can see it. And actually I talked about what are again the major metrics. When we talked about the earnings results release of Hims & Hers, I did it just in a verbal freestyle manner, and this time I thought about myself, okay, maybe we can bring a little bit more structure into it, so I prepared some PowerPoint slides for you. Don't worry, it's not like a long PowerPoint presentation. Let's try to keep it very short and compact. So what is important for us today, or for me at least? Of course, it's in first of all, the priority is on revenue and EPS development. So in my point of view, I will talk tomorrow very likely stream on another Brazilian company, which is Stone. And this company for me is very profitable focused. So I will set a high focus when we talk about the earnings on the profit side. But today at Nubank, we talk really about regional and product and service wise expansion. Therefore, revenue is definitely on pole position when we talk about the evaluation of the stock. But what comes after, or what kind of let's say sub metrics we should consider, or I should consider. So on the short term, and this is the where we set the focus today, is definitely first of all the development of the credit worthiness, by taking a look on the default rate. Like at Hims & Hers stream, I prepared as well a little bit adjusted Excel document, so we can enter everything, put everything inside of this sheet, of this Excel table, and calculate a little bit. However, so credit worthiness is very important for me. You need to know that on average, of course, a client in Latin America, in Brazil, and Colombia, and Mexico, they have a lower income, and maybe the reliability of their payments and the stability of their cash flows is not, and of their financials is not that solid. And therefore, it's important for me to see that the credit worthiness is on a somehow stable level, so we don't see any too negative development. That's too many payments, news or loans they are waiting, for instance, Nubank is waiting for, and they are missing finally. The second point is definitely the rollout in Brazil, but more on the product side. You need to know that in Brazil, and that's the home base and the headquarter of Nu, they are quite popular already. I think, let me check this again, but I think they, yes, right, they are covering already 46% of all adults in Brazil. So 46% of all adults in Brazil are customers of Nu, and therefore there is not so much potential anymore in acquiring new customers. Of course, there is some potential left, but that's not the major driver. But what is definitely quite impressive is their rollout in new product categories, like the smartphone insurance, like the investment services. And I want to show you just quickly a news article. Give me a moment. So, as you can see here, from launched on Yahoo Finance, in which is stated from end of last month, 25 July, they aggressively rolled out different kind of, as I mentioned, products and services. So, and as you can see here, Nubank's market share, the company has launched over 25 products and features in Brazil. And that just in the ongoing business year. So that's quite impressive. I can't tell it in different words. So that is really a sign how innovative this company is, how the people accept and adopt to their products, the customers, the potential customer base, and quite impressive. So, as I mentioned, that is definitely what we want to focus as well. And the last point, which we set in high focus, is the customer growth in Mexico and Colombia, because they decided to go for those both regions, for those both countries first. Let me take a quick zip, guys, please. So Mexico, of course, as far as I know, I think, don't name me on that, but I think it's the second largest economy in Latin America, and Colombia very likely the third one, I guess. And they didn't launch the business too long ago, but it's very important in just it's different to Brazil. You know, as I mentioned, Brazil, they have already a huge customer base, and it's a little bit more about cross-selling and upselling. Yeah, when we talk about Mexico and Colombia, it's just about the basic establishment of the business and really rolling out the products the first time, creating a brand awareness, you know, for the potential customer base. And that is more the target, what we need to focus there when we see the numbers later on. And of course, there are some further metrics or parameters. So on the mid-term range, for sure, the interest rate, the local interest rate, Selic, I hope I pronounce it correctly, from the Brazil central bank. They just a few days ago lowered the leading interest rate from 13.75% to 13.25%. So they are a little bit ahead of Europe for sure, and of America as well, where we expect that the interest rate of the central banks of the Fed in the US and the ECB in Europe will be stable next time, very likely. They are already lowering it. And why are doing this? Because I read an article that the inflation rate is actually, the inflation rate decreased from 12 to 4%. You know, so the development in this regard is going very quickly. And of course now, in my opinion, the central bank over there tries to get control over it and recalibrate it. But this is of course a very important aspect. And why? Because lower interest rates, they are a cause for a way higher demand of financial and banking service demand. You know, more people will ask for new solutions for loans, etc. Will be more open to invest more money in for instance stocks, buy their services, and therefore that's definitely a huge driver for new. And this is definitely something what we need to have on our radar. And a little bit less important, but as well on the long term, we should not lose the focus on it, is the regional expansion on further markets. Beside Brazil, Mexico, and Colombia, the competition by the old economy, the existing players, which are quite strong, but they have a lot of subsidiaries or branches and on-site stores, and that's quite good for Nubank, because they keep their business very digitally, and for them the on-site presence is not so important, so they are more efficient with their setup. Then another point is definitely the competition to Mercado Libre, or let's say Mercado Pago, which is their banking business. As you know, Mercado Libre is basically the pendant, let's say the copy or whatever you want to call it, to Amazon in the Western world, or to Alibaba and JD and C in Asia, Pacific Asia, JD.com. And Mercado Libre is quite successful with the strategy, and a huge amount of turnover they created by their banking sector, Mercado Libre and Mercado Pago. And this Mercado Pago is quite a strong driver. And it's very important that we're not losing the focus on this situation. But based on the past, Mercado Libre is the first mover, is already established in the market since years, and still Nubank had the chance to enter and to make good businesses. So I am not concerned too much about this aspect. The number 7th and almost last aspect is definitely the stability of the currency exchange rate. Let me again quickly share for this my browser and to give you an idea what is going on with the exchange rate. I hope you can see it now. And yeah, as you can see, in the past 5 years, it's quite stable, at least since 2020, since Corona pandemic times. And that is not always the case. So the Brazilian real, which is the local currency, is getting a little bit weaker compared to the US dollar. And the US dollar, you get for $1 5 Brazilian reals at the moment. And if the case should occur that the Brazilian real gets even less worth, so it's getting weaker compared to the US dollars, of course, it has somehow a negative aspect as well on the stock, which is running on the US dollar base, Yeah, so don't name me again on this topic, but I think I'm quite correct when we talk when I mentioned this. And the last one, and then we will start to jump into the numbers because we are already 15 minutes after 10 p.m. So I guess it's getting already serious. The last point is definitely the impact of the local economy and of the local politics. So as you might heard. The economical situation and the political situation is not in every economy stable, on the same level stable, like for instance in Germany where I'm located. And stable is always something what you need to be careful with, let's say it like this, but yeah, let's leave it like this. And of course in Brazil and Latin America, the political situation is very different. The different countries are very unique to each other. It's not like all of them are 100%, as far as I know, democratic or whatever. And as soon as some votings are going on, then of course the situation can change very quickly. And that's the same as well when we talk about the currency exchange rate and their impact on the local economy performance. And this is something what we definitely need to keep in our mind as well, yeah, from my perspective. Okay, let's give me one zip and then maybe it's getting already serious. Just for information, I switched off I didn't switch off the chat as far as I know, but I'm not checking it, my screen is so small that I decided to leave it out, but I think the chat is actually activated, and please don't get it wrong if I'm not reacting or interacting with you. That's the reason, just because I'm not recognizing it. Okay, let's check. Let's go to the browser and check the numbers. Okay, not so much going on over here till now. So just 0.4% up. That doesn't need to mean anything bad. We need to keep in mind as well that, and you can see here the quarterly results are not published yet. But what you need to keep in mind, as I mentioned, the stock already run very well, and had a great performance year to date. And this is definitely something what we need to keep in mind, that it would not surprise me too heavily if it's quite difficult for the stock to get an impulse on a level which really causes a larger breakout. You never know. The stock had amazing performance in the past. I can show you here, just that you have seen it here, the market cap of roughly 37 billion. So it's not a small cap anymore for sure. But let's go into the earnings of the past. I need to re-equip my studio. It's somehow falling apart. Man, I need to invest in more quality, guys. However, okay, can I switch off this one? Okay, perfect. Okay, let me see if you can see my screen. I zoom a little in a little bit more, and a little bit even more. Okay, perfect. I think that's working out for you and for me as well. So as you can see, they're not always covered their guidance by far. Sometimes they just cover it on the equal level, on the minimum level. Sometimes they even missed their expected results, like you can see here in February this year. But still, their revenue year-on-year performances and quarter-on-quarter performances are quite impressive. Nothing else to say. And you can see here as well that we go a little bit from the loss zone into a profit zone. So the EPS is rising as well. But as I mentioned, that's not that important for me. I want to show you quickly by using my Excel tool, which I have prepared for today, what I'm expecting. Is it working? Yes, perfectly. What I'm expecting. So let me zoom in again a little bit here. Is it working? A little bit less. Slightly less. Okay, so I think that's good for you. Okay, so we have here as well the EPS, the revenue, the numbers of 2023 and the numbers of 2022. So the last quarter numbers and the year-on-year numbers, so Q2 2022 and Q1 2022. So I try to make a comparison to year-on-year and of course to the last quarter. That's my target. And I just copied and pasted basically the numbers of investing.com of the latest results. And as you can see here, when we check out the revenue side, they set up a guidance of 1.5 billion US dollars. And last year they set up a guidance on 1 billion US dollars. But they, last quarter they reached a revenue of 1.6 billion. So what I've calculated here, I calculated the difference from Q1 and Q2 2022, which was so the race and the distance, the gap between the last quarter and the quarter before, and it was roughly 320 million. And so I want to see the same gap again. Of course, the year-on-year relative percentage rate will decrease somehow on the long term, on the midterm, on the short term. But on the absolute numbers, I want to see that they again raise their revenue by the same number which they have raised 1 year ago. So which is 320 million US dollars. So even if they have a forecast of 1.5 billion, I expect a revenue of 1.94 billion US dollars. That is what satisfies me and what will cover my expectations for sure. And when we go to the EPS side, it's basically the same setup. So last year, Q1, Q2, the EPS was neutral and completely perfect on expectations. And this year and on this quarter, 4 cents per share. And yeah, basically because there was no difference they have achieved, and somehow they acquired some progress. I'm actually happy, and as well because I'm not setting too much focus on the EPS as I mentioned. I'm here just happy if they can catch up with the expectations and they can cover the 4 cents per share. That would be great. So again, revenue 1.94 billion US dollars and EPS 4 cents per share. That's my target. And next to it, let me see if you can see it. Yeah. Okay, I prepared already, when we talk about the short-term aspects, which I have mentioned on the PowerPoint slides, I prepared a sheet where we can just enter the customer base, how it developed, and can see if, we're running into the right direction with the stock. And the same here with default rate, so the credit worthiness of the client base, I copied here, so you can see here. The default rate is basically the how is it called? Let me check the correct. I even make a note so I'm not. The percentage of all outstanding loans that the lender, in this case a new bank, has written off as unpaid after a prolonged period of missed payments. So basically, yeah, the cash that they're missing and but originally expected because they provided this money someone. So and this is the default rate. As I mentioned, I want to see it at least on a stable, solid base. Okay, let us check again. I hope the numbers get announced at 10 p.m. after the market closes, because actually I'm not 100% convinced by this. I know that the earnings call will take place in roughly half an hour, so at 11 p.m. CET. But about the financial results, we will see how this will work out. Okay, let's check this again. So the numbers are not. I mean, in worst case, I will take a break and I will come back in half an hour if they get not released now. But I definitely will spend a little bit more time. Just give me a moment to sip some water. So guys, I think we need to stay a little bit more patient over here. I guess we are not the only one out there who are in this situation. They are here as well. No new numbers about this. Okay, wait. But we definitely have some more stuff we can discuss. There is not... I'm not worried about, actually. Maybe let's go back when we talk about... Let's share my screen again when we talk about the metrics we want to focus later on. And when we set a focus on the customer growth in Mexico and Colombia, what is actually over there existing at the moment. So in Mexico, Nubank has a market share of roughly 3%, and in Colombia 2%. So Mexico was the second market they moved in, and Colombia the third market they stepped into. So and both of them are quite new. So the growth rates are heavy, I can tell you. Let me share for this the current earnings release sheets, and as you can see here, I hope you can see it. Yes, it's working out perfect. A little bit larger maybe for you guys. Yeah, perfect. As you need to know is that it will get released based on US dollars, which is great, but on the other side, in English language, you know, in Brazilian language. So I definitely, when it's published and released, I definitely need to download it quickly, translate it by a tool, and then I can show it to you. So it would take a quick moment till it's working out. Okay. However, when the report will get released or launched, you can see here very quickly on a first glance how much customers overall are existing. So currently we are on the number of roughly 80 million. They already announced, which is obvious by news, that they crossed the 80 million bar. So I'm very curious in figuring out how many customers are actually existing. And you can see here on this side how this is structured, you know, so and separated. You can see that this 3 million, so they reached in Mexico a growth of astonishing 52%. But what is even more crazy, but of course Colombia is a way smaller market, as you can imagine, but we're talking in Colombia about a growth rate of roughly 200%. So that is wild. That is very, very wild. I mean, the customer increase of 31% in Brazil is already definitely setting the bar on a really high level. And of course, that is not just the increasement of turnover or revenue or sales. That's just the increase of customers. As I mentioned, in Brazil, they're rolling out a lot of other products and services, doing upselling and cross-selling, therefore increasing heavily the income per customer, per client. But here, as I mentioned, we're really talking about pushing the customer base to a really rocket sky high level as quickly as possible. And yeah, I think still in Latin America, there's so much potential left. And we will for sure see some further development in the future on other markets. But I like that they set their focus and making one step after each other. Okay, so still their financial results are not announced as far as I can see it. All right, so let's go on. Let's go on with the report, the latest report I have as well here opened on the other side. The report, as you can see here, year on year, so 1 year ago, second quarter of 2022. And okay, what we will set as well. So as I mentioned, we will set the focus on the customer base, which is important, and make sure that the customer base in Brazil is going in the right direction. In the new expanded established markets, Mexico and Colombia are on a good level. And as I mentioned, we will definitely check out the default rate, so the credit worthiness of the customers, of the clients, and therefore, let me check where it is. It's here. So you can see here the development of this rate, and they separated always in terms of 15 till 90 days. At 90 days plus they are missing out the payments, and they're writing it off basically. So as you can see here, in the past, when we talk about 15 till 90 days, even if it's lowered in 2020, overall it increased, which maybe is not the best development, if I'm not mistaken. And the same here as on the default rate, 90 days plus, so it's increasing as well. So, however, we want to see that we keep it stable, we keep it solid, and it's still working out in the right direction, of course. Maybe let me do quickly some, if it's fine for you, and you have a little patience for me. Let me do some little bit of advertisement in terms of my next stream tomorrow. So there's no guarantee, but very likely in the evening today I will announce the stream, and it will be set up on the same time slot. So 9:50 p.m. CET, and it will be about StoneCo or Stonia, which is a POS, a point of sales hardware and software provider of financial services, a provider of CRM, of ERP systems in the retail sector, so really retail focus driven. In my opinion, a strong cash machine. And I definitely would not, if I would be you, I would not miss this chance out to hear what I will tell you about this company. I'm very excited about this company. It's my second. New is my favorite. New is my third largest position, and StoneCo is the third largest position, number 3, but actually my second favorite, let's say it like this, so, or even perhaps my absolute favorite stock. If I would just go for one company, very likely I would decide for StoneCo. Of course, Simpson Hearst is as well a good catch in my opinion, and it's a hard struggle to make the decision between those 3 companies. Yes, but wait, again, I need to readjust the light over here. Yeah, it's like the saying, I'm not sure if it's existing in your country, but if you buy something cheap, then you buy it twice. And I think in this case, that is actually going on at the moment. However, so another something else what I definitely want to mention is that I'm not 100% sure and convinced that I want to do this. Maybe you can give me some feedback if you like to see it or not. I'm quite sure you want to see it, but I really want to open my accounting books, let's say it like this, in the future, and really give you a view to my portfolio, not only how much percentage, so how large the part of a certain stock is, but really going into the numbers in euros and US dollars, how much I own of the different companies. And yeah, I'm still thinking about doing this or not. Actually, I always by myself, when I was in the audience of streams and videos, I like to see real numbers. Put your money where your mouth is wise. I think it's just to tell something like, yeah, I get again 5,000 US dollars of dividend this month. Okay, it's great if you achieve this, but it's always a little bit more interesting for the audience if you can see real in numbers what is standing behind this dividends, for instance. Yeah, even if I'm not a dividend driven person, actually I get almost no dividend, and I plan to do this by having each month a stream or a video. I'm not 100% sure if I will stream everything in the future or not, but to have a video or a stream which I publish, and just show you all my stocks and how I'm developing everything in the past period, in the past 30 days, keep you updated over here. And that will be the Insights time format. And another format which I definitely plan to release is the pitch time format, the pitch time episode. And the pitch time episode will be about really introduce you, preview about some stocks, really pitch them somehow. I missed, for instance, I only own actually 5 stocks at the moment and a few ETFs, but the 5 stocks which I own is Hims and Hers, is new, is Stoneco, and is a Netherlands, a European company in the energy sector, in the hardware supply and infrastructure sector, which is called Alphen. Very interesting catch for me, a little bit like Enphase, a little bit on a higher scale, on a macro view, or let's say a little bit like Tesla, because they're providing as well battery systems, which you can connect to the grid, which you can connect to windmills, for instance, wind energy turbines, for instance, parks and farms. And so that's the 4th I own. And the 5th one I own is Perion Networks, and which is sales and provide customer side advertising company like the Trade Desk, or in the same sector like PubMatic, for instance, or Magnite. So which is connecting basically demand side, the people, or let's say, which is connecting the ones who want to promote their advertising, their company, and the ones who have a platform, a base which you can offer to promote this advertisement. And Perion Networks is actually exactly doing this. It's located in Israel. And yeah, that's already my portfolio when we talk about single stocks. Yeah, so 1 US company with Hims and Hers, 2 more with the Brazilian companies New and Stoneco. The 4th one is Alphen from the Netherlands, which is representing a little bit the European side. Even if I don't focus diversification in the regional aspect too much, for me it's fine if all of the companies are located in US, but for me it's more important that I'm convinced by the business case, I'm convinced by the management, I'm convinced by the numbers, by the potential, by the news, by the past, the history of the chart, of the price, of the evaluation, the assessment of it. That's more the characteristics I care, not so much if they are located all next to each other. Yeah, and the 5th one, as I mentioned, Perion Networks, which is active in the advertisement business. Okay, so guys, again, let me check again the numbers if they now announced. Man, that's it's a shame that they are not announced now. I'm getting really excited almost. Not right now. Let me see what the aftermarket is telling. If there's already some volatility going on, some rising or falling of the price. No, as you can see here, quite solid still. Okay, nothing to complain about actually. Let me go on a little bit. As I mentioned, what is important for me is definitely the revenue focus. So there's nothing which, even if the EPS is not running so well, the results are not top notch, they're not catching up with the expectations. Maybe the market is not forgiving new, but I will forgive new. For me, it's important that they really push the sales. Especially, I'm interested to see how the business is going in Mexico and Colombia. So if they can really catch up to the year growth rate of almost 200% in Colombia, that would be crazy. You need to know that, as I mentioned, my position is roughly 8,000 euros, 9,000 US dollars in the second one I own. And I didn't only purchase the stock initially in March. I mean, I purchased it initially in March, but I purchased it a few times later on as well in April. Don't worry, I will, as I mentioned, try to create maximum transparency and maximum transparency and check out and tell you how I purchased all the stocks later on in my Insights Time episodes in the future. And of course, there will be another format which I launch, which you can see in the banner of my YouTube site, which is called Bonus Time. And what is Bonus Time? Bonus time is actually something very simple. It's something what I try to provide on the side, which is not 100% focused on capital, on financials, on stocks. What is not representing my view, like in perspective time. It's more like about maybe you never know what the future brings. I'm still young and white and free, I hope at least. And at least I'm not feeling so old. Actually, sometimes I'm feeling old, to be honest. However, and I'm talking about stocks. So maybe that's as well a subject which you're not talking about when you are 14 years old or 18 years old. But still, however, so you never know what the future will bring. And that's the reason for this bonus aspect. So maybe I talk a little bit as well about some experiences in my job life, in my professional career. I'm not 100% sure how all of this will go. You can look, if you are curious about some stuff, don't hesitate to write it in the comments or reach out to me, send me a message. I think you can send messages through YouTube, I guess. At least I guess it's working like this. Actually, I'm not so experienced over here. Sorry, guys. And yeah, don't hesitate to just suggest something. If you have some suggestions, maybe that would be interesting. I always thought by myself why other content creators on for instance YouTube are not having this kind of format, this kind of episodes they on the consistent base they're launching. If you have an idea, just let me know. If you have any questions, just let me know. I definitely will note down all questions and for sure sooner or later make a Q&A on all the questions at least I can answer and which are not too private for me and I can live with. Like on the first video, someone asked who I am. Very good question, actually. I think it was from a German one. And yeah, I would love to answer this question. I would love to answer this question, actually. So yeah, maybe I can show you again the Excel sheet document and the connection to the metrics which we will focus. So I've decided to somehow not finish this stream. I hope somehow there's no limitation in time when we talk about streaming, the streaming capacity on YouTube. I mean, I have just a regular account. Maybe you need somehow a premium account or something like this to extend the streaming period, the streaming time. So if somehow it's getting switched off from 1 minute to the other, guys, I'm very sorry. But very likely, for sure, I will somehow find a way to start a new stream right after again. Hopefully it's working. I had on Monday another stream about PayPal, which I had huge trouble with the technical setup and equipment, and as well with the connection to the mobile phone connection. And I'm already very glad that. So that's. I'm just talking about the connection, and in the moment the connection was lost. I'm talking about this connection. The moment the connection was lost, crazy. That was really some coincidence. Yeah, it is how it is. Checking again the numbers in the background. Okay, so let's go back to the topic a little bit. And as I mentioned, I try to keep the stream. Try to keep the stream ongoing. Very likely, I need to somehow cut it off, definitely cut it somehow later, after the stream is switched off and the broadcast has ended. But I think that's just some night work for me later on. Okay, again, let's go to the PowerPoint slide. As you can see, the midterm and long-term metrics, they are not so important for me right now, not for me so important for today. Which is more important are which the absolute focus is on, are the short-term aspects. So development of credit worthiness, product rollout in Brazil, and customer growth in Mexico and Colombia. You can see default rate, sales per customer, and growth rate. And let's switch to the Excel sheet. Man, last week's Hims and Hers stream, I was running out heavily on time and missed a lot of stuff I wanted to state for you and somehow pitch, and what I thought was important to mention. And today, it's completely the opposite. We have so much time, and somehow I'm feeling on not ending live stream, even if I'm enjoying it with each one of you. I'm not sure how many are viewing at the moment. If it's one person, I'm already happy, because it's just amazing. Actually, it's just amazing. Regularly, I would just check the numbers by my own and talk to myself. Maybe later on when I have dreams or nightmares in the bed. But today, I have the chance to really talk to other humans all over the world. I check the stats, and a lot of a lot of viewers are located from Canada, located from the US, basically all over the world. Maybe we have even some Brazilian guys over here. It would be just amazing to have this in the future and have a live chat ongoing in which they can put in their opinions, their perspective on what I'm talking about, or maybe correct me if I'm telling something wrong, because as I mentioned, there's definitely no guarantee for correctness when we talk about the stuff I'm stating over here. Just do it with a good purpose and try to do my best for you. And yeah, so what we have here as well is in the gray, colored gray, is the difference between the guidance, the expectations, and the actual result. So, of course, you can see here last year they heavily by 20% almost crossed and covered the revenue expectations. And I'm really interested to see, and they did this as well this year, last expectations. Let's check this together, maybe. So as you can see here, here as well, by more than 200 millions on an overall turnover of 1.6 billion. Yeah, so that's just some strong results, and so it's nothing too much crazy you need to celebrate on if they again cross 200 million, because it's just regular business as far as I see for this company. You see here as well, in August they did it in the same manner. In May they crossed it by 200 million. So really, if they should definitely something reach a level of roughly revenue of 1.7 billion, 7.5 billion, 1.75 billion, that would definitely be fine. And something, which we can work with. But as I mentioned, the target is for sure 1.9 billion. That is something what would make me heavily satisfied. And as you can see here on the right side, we have prepared the revenue already copied out of the past quarters for the year on year and quarter on quarter. And as well, the customers which I can then add. As you can see here, the 3.2 million customers in Mexico, the 600,000 customers currently existing, and the connected year-on-year growth rates in Colombia, of course. Yeah, and you can see here 75 million customers in Brazil. Let me check. I think they have the overall population over there is something like 300, is it correct? I'm not 100% sure. 180? 180, I guess. Wait, let me check this for you. Population. Oh, yeah, not 300 and not 180. Somewhere the golden mid. So we're talking about just switched off the doors, locked the doors actually. It's a little bit dark over here and creepy, so you never know what will happen. I don't want to be one of the few who get somehow damaged during a live stream. However, it's 240 millions, as you can see here. Can you see my screen at the moment? Yeah, perfect. 240 millions. Yeah, so yeah, I missed this somehow. And let's check again. Maybe the largest countries. Latin America by population. And yeah, as you can see, so New really covered the top three. Of course, Argentina, as far as if my news status is correct, is a little bit a special market in terms of political situation, in terms of inflation rate, not just since the central banks a little bit rolled out more, pushed more money in the markets. Since the corona pandemic, I think already before, they have been very active or struggling with inflation rate, high inflation rate. I'm not sure if that's correct, but I think the iPhone is, the highest price for the iPhone is actually in Argentina. But don't name me as well on this. I don't hope that's wrong information. Okay, however, you can see here, 52. Okay, so the overall New is covering a population of 220, 250, 350, 400 million Latin American people. That's crazy. That's more than located overall in the European Union, as far as I know, I think, or in US, I think both is roughly 300 million. So quite impressive. And when we check this, you can see here, that the gap between number 4 and number 5 is quite huge. So they really went to the top largest markets. Okay, again, so we already, it's getting late today. Luckily I took a day off. Luckily for me, because otherwise I would drop down somehow on the steering wheel and fall asleep sooner or later. I hope you can stay awake. Let me quickly one moment. Let me quickly check if the live stream is still working. Yeah, it's working actually, man. Oh, and free current viewers. Why not? Thank you very much, and already received a like. Highly appreciate this. Thank you very much. I'm not sure what is your name, what's your background, but very, very likely appreciate this and highly appreciate this. And yeah, don't hesitate to subscribe as well if you want to be one of a few who can tell you supported me from the beginning, from the get-go. So I mentioned this already at the past streams, that for me it's, or in general, just the beginning of something is always very difficult. And somehow somehow starting this business on my own, even if I didn't need to invest too much money into the setup, didn't invest too much money. I already own a car, you know, so that's fine for me. And I think it was never more easy to do live streaming than now, or do some kind of news stuff or share the opinions to others. It was never that inexpensive, that cheap today, but yeah, highly appreciate that that I have the chance to doing this, and that even some people are watching it, you know, so that I achieved 300 or accomplished 300 views on the Himston Hurst stream on was crazy. By first try, that was simply crazy. Okay, however, anyway, let's go on and check again the numbers. I don't want to steal your time. I'm very thankful for your patience, for each of you who's watching now, and seeing that. Okay, the earnings still not released. I think we need to cover 6 more minutes. And we covered more than an hour, so for sure we will cover 6 more minutes as well. We will do this together. Somehow we will accomplish it. And maybe we go together into the... we check a little bit out the... what we should do, maybe we can check some KPIs, like price sales, like price earnings, which is... Maybe I give you a quick outlook of my rating of this company. You need to know that originally I owned, not too long ago, let's say last quarter, I owned roughly 20 single stocks and a few ETFs. And now, as I mentioned, I'm only owning anymore 5 stocks. I really want to set a higher focus. For me, stock picking means setting a high focus and really make selections, really put in work and getting really comfortable with the company which is standing behind the stock. And therefore I like to have the streams and creating video content, because I'm somehow forced to get more deep into this, because otherwise, if I'm not too deep into the topics and not too familiar with numbers and aspects, how I should present you those companies in a high quality level. So that's the reason as well why I like this. And as I mentioned, I really restructured my portfolio. I kept a lot of stocks actually, but when we can talk about keeping a lot of stocks, because as I mentioned, originally I owned 20 and now I own 5. For me, it was really a heavy change, because I will make a separate video about this, but I invested a lot of time in the past in checking. Way too often I checked my portfolio before work, after work, sometimes in the lunch breaks I checked the status of my portfolio, what is going on, what is the value increasing or decreasing, even if I'm already active since years on the market. So I started doing this 8 years ago in 2015. So even not like a lot of people in the Corona period. It was for me a few years earlier, even if I missed as well the large crisis in 2008, and the of course .com bubble. I don't even need to talk about, so it's way before my time. However, and I started with ETFs. Then I always had the goal to somehow end with stocks, maybe only stocks. So now I have a separated depot, 50% ETFs, 50% stocks. It was not like I wanted to achieve this balance, this ratio 50-50, but somehow it happened. It was just as well a result of the performance of my single stocks and of my ETFs. And I can imagine that in the future I will set 100% focus on ETF on single stocks. Actually, I have a very high investment rate. I even leverage a little bit. So this is something what I not recommend, because it's simply something which is not a way to, which is not comfortable and convenient for everyone. But as well, I for sure will make a separate video or stream about how I leverage and why I leverage and since when I leverage. And of course, if it's working out for me or not, I can tell you from my characteristics, I have a quite high risk acceptance, and therefore for me, it's not that even if it's not working out too much, too strongly, it's fine for me to leverage actually. Okay, and so I will make for sure a video. But what I wanted to tell is that it's hard to say it like this, yeah, and it sounds a little bit childish or whatever. But I checked so often since I had single stocks. I checked so often each day on the continuous base, frequently, the status, the price of the stocks, that it was really almost felt like addiction. And even now, I sometimes feeling, oh man, I'm checking too often the prices. Why I'm doing this? It's not changing anything. It doesn't have even the lowest impact on anything. It's just somehow, I mean, it's even risk somehow. Yeah, it's risky because basically, if you're checking too often, my feeling is that you think too much about these stocks, and sometimes, luckily, fortunately, on a positive way, but unfortunately, sometimes on a very negative way. And then your thinking process starts, and then you think at the end of this thinking process, okay, maybe I should sell this stock. Maybe there's something else which is better. And I'm really working since months actually, and that shows that I'm really just a regular dude. Since months I'm working on this aspect that I'm less checking the stocks. Good is that I never checked it during my working hours, so because that's something what I think is definitely not nice to do. And however, I can just tell this video about stock addiction is something what I really like to do, but I need to do a little bit more brainstorming and think about my history and wait, I'm sharing my browser a little bit so you can see at least the stocks, the stock price, and maybe we can see by the stock price as soon as it's lowering or decreasing or increasing that the report is announced, the quarterly results. Yeah, but I'm really motivated to have this somehow stock checking, price checking addiction video. So that's something what I definitely like to stream or to load up on YouTube, and many more things. Many more things. Let's see. I'm not sure if I will stay here in this car. What I like to do on the long term is definitely do some interviews. I can imagine. I'm not sure which will be the interviewee, so I need to find someone who will answer the questions I'm asking actually. But I'm quite sure I try from the get-go now to get connected and create a network to other YouTube content creators, and let's see what kind of collaborations may get established in the future. As you can see not too much by. I mean, is it the right day? Yeah, okay, it's 15th of August. Hey, you never know. You really need to check all options. Let's check again. Now it's 11:02. I'm not registered for the. Let's translate this to English. I'm not registered for the earnings call, which actually should take place right now, as far as I know. Let me, where we are, actions, finance, result center, maybe here. Oh man, Sorry, guys. That was conference call. Hey. It's just, I think it's, okay, now, yeah, it's, as you can see here, it's 5 p.m. local time. Is correct? Yeah, 5 p.m. local time. So now I'm quite confident the numbers will get released. I hope I have enough water in my bottle to finish this stream. At least the engine is going on here. I have electrical vehicle, good car. Maybe somehow I will show it on another day. Oh, 1.64. Maybe something is going on. Maybe something is going on. I hope it's something going on and some development is going on and we're moving into the right direction. Because I'm running, sooner or later at least, I will run out of energy. Okay. Let's check again. 2.4%. Yeah, I think something is going on. 3.5%. Okay, guys. I think finally the time has come that it's just now really a matter of seconds after 4% plus, after how much time? A 1 hour 16 minutes stream that we can finally share to each other the results, the financial results of Nu. Man, that will be heavy work to really restructure the stream later on for other audience who later wants to watch the stream. But yeah, that is a one-of-a-kind experience, I guess. Okay, one moment. Let me check again if still someone is watching here, which would be amazing. Yes, we have 3 viewers, so great to have you in. Highly appreciate. And now let's go back and check the page where the numbers should get announced. And as I mentioned, it's stated in US dollars, but it is it's written in Brazilian language. So, that was dumb. Of course, there is no Brazilian language. It's Portuguesian language. Sorry for correction. Yeah, as I mentioned, there's no guarantee that I'm telling you the truth. Of course, as far as I know, Brazil is the only country where people speaking Portuguesian language, and all around in Latin America, Spanish is the common prioritized number one language the citizens over there are speaking. Okay. Oh man, now it's getting even darker over here. The light bulbs of the streets are down, switched off. I hope my laptop has enough power, but it's not looking too bad. And my phone as well, my phones. Let's check again the number. Hopefully I'm not too ambitious, man. It was already on Monday, the situation when I was it Monday or Sunday, I think. Sunday or Monday. I definitely when I recorded my PayPal stream, as I mentioned, I had 40 minutes delay. I had big trouble with my technical setup, and to even make it worse, the connection was still afterwards quite bad. It was extremely warm compared to German conditions. It was roughly 30 degrees in my car, and I didn't switch on the air condition, so it was so warm. I ran out of water, and I don't hope that I will now go through the same kind of desert situation. That just because I really want to provide you what I planned to provide you. I'm keeping this now for minutes and minutes and minutes, and still nothing is happening. It's that would be really a shame. But it's my first month. It's my third stream. Actually, I originally never planned to stream, and therefore, yeah, I think it's just some experience which you need to make. Maybe I try to let me translate this, and I tried to find the 7 p.m. Brazil time. Okay, 6 p.m. New York time. And let's check again. New York time. What is the time in New York? Oh, please not. Please don't tell me I'm 1 hour too early. Okay, guys, if that should be really the case, if this should be correct, then I'm for sure screwed. Then that is kind of, we talk really a kind of an accident. Of course, maybe it's embarrassing for me. Not as I mentioned, it's just we are on YouTube. It's about authentic content. It's about not being perfect. I'm not a professional advisor, financial advisor. I'm not an anchor's man or whatever. And all of this is new to me. And if this should be now the case, then it is how it is, guys. But actually, I'm still quite convinced that even if the call is set up on 6 p.m. New York times, I'm quite convinced that the numbers should be out very, very soon. So, okay, let's check again. Maybe the Brazil time. I'm not sure if they have multiple time zones or... Okay, Brazil time is 6 p.m. 10 after 6. So, okay, the call for sure is just in 1 hour. I'm definitely 1 hour too early. I started definitely 1 hour too early my stream. God, that's crazy. Oh, that is what I definitely need to cut out. Now I shared my YouTube frame, my YouTube page, just because I'm getting a little bit nervous almost. No, but just almost. Just kidding. It's okay. It's okay. Okay, guys. Let me check again. We have still three viewers. Oh, Mark L. Can you write something? That's crazy. I checked now my YouTube stream after 1 hour and 20 minutes. It has been pushed. Oh, Mark L. So I give you here this heart. I never give someone some kind of whatever emoji. I don't even know what the result is. But great that I know that I'm not alone here on this island somehow. Mark, can you... So first of all, welcome to my stream. I'm not sure. Since when do you watching the stream? Are you already here since the beginning, and you really honestly just covered the whole view, or just started right now? If you started one hour ago, or right from the get-go when I opened the stream, I'm very sorry. And I'm very sorry and hope you are a patient person. And then the second question is to you, Mark. And I appreciate that you usually don't comment, but in this case you make an exception and you comment. So appreciate this very, very highly. And I appreciate that I'm sitting here somewhere outside in my car and I don't have a garage or something like this. And I'm not feeling so lonely anymore. So, however, thank you very much for your appreciation, and of course, greetings to you back, and a high appreciation level to you back, of course. I hope you're not falling asleep. I hope somehow you don't need to wake up tomorrow too early. And if you need to wake up early and it's not somehow creating a mess in your day-night balance and sleeping hours. So the next question is, did they really postpone it? Did they reschedule the call and the earnings results by 1 hour, or did I just plan in the wrong direction and really, miscalculated it and basically came 1 hour too early? What is the case, Mark? Can you help me out here? That would be great. And the third question is, I'm still at work. I'm leaving close to Washington, D.C. Oh, so the capital city? Yeah, it should be the capital city of the USA, huh? Hopefully I'm not wrong. So greetings to the US. I'm not sure if Nu can make America great again or whatever, but I hope at least they can. What I really like about Nu is that I appreciate their service for the region they are active in. I mean that a lot of the population don't have access to financial support and services and products, and maybe don't even have a bank account. It's just something what very like you, Mark, and me, which is hard to think about. You know, it's hard to understand, and sorry, another sip. And therefore, I even with a better feeling, I can invest in this company. I mean, I'm not that selective about this. Oh, Nu is going up in price almost 5 hours. Hi Gary. Thank you very much for the news. That's great. That's amazing. Sorry to Mark to interrupt the communication, but quickly let's step. I'm sharing my screen again. Back to the browser. Back to Finance Results Center. Okay, it's not launched yet. Maybe let's quickly update the tab and check again if, Gary, you are correct or not. 4%. Yeah, you're right. It's going in the direction of 5%. Maybe the market knows something what we don't know. Maybe okay. Then we stay here, I think, all together. We are all together in the same boat. I will make sure to share correctly my share the stock price of investing.com. Is it like this? Yeah. So you see at least on the same level what is going on. But guys, do you have any information when regularly the numbers should get announced and released? Is it just now a matter of, don't hope hours, but I hope we are very close to this point in time. But do you have any information for me? So I know at least from my mind about how much time streaming we will talk today. How long the duration will be. Yeah, I guess it's still actually on the same level like before, actually. But Mark, you have mentioned that sign that I took too much risk. Yeah, maybe the case. Look, as I mentioned, of course, every human being, every individual person has an own risk acceptance level. And of course, you need to always balance out risk and chances. And I can honestly say that, if it's really bothering you during the daytimes and you're now getting really concerned, I can imagine it is maybe too much. I'm not sure if I would be in this position, it could be the case, but somehow I think I can imagine that if you own a certain amount of stocks and the position is comparably large, of course, you get somehow nervous and can get an awkward feeling, some pain in the stomach. And I lived through this experience as well in the past. So, yeah, I think nothing which would surprise me too heavily. Let's check again the numbers. Hope you can see it. 3.79, so it's decreasing a little bit. Nothing announced here, and okay, they're finally here. I'm almost crying. Guys, thank you very much for staying in the line, and after a stream of almost exactly 1.5 hours. Okay, let's check again the price, if we're running in the right direction. Now I'm getting awake again. As I mentioned, of course, I'm not a long-term investor, I think, or classic short-term investor and speculative, whatever. But so for me, I can hold stocks shortly or longer. But of course, numbers are always good, results are always good, but it's not everything about just one call and the results, you know. So we cross now all fingers that the results are in line, and we all sleep happy later on. As I mentioned, now here in Germany it's 20 past 11 p.m., so it's quite late. And especially not only because of this, but one reason for taking one day off from work was really this call. So let's open now the earnings release. And as I mentioned, very likely it's in Portuguese language. So let me quickly download this. And I just need... Maybe you can already... Here, I sharing the screen in the time. You can already see here the audience. The customers are on level of 84. Okay, that looks already good. But I can't speak Portuguese language, yeah, even if I would love to do this right now in the situation. But just do me a favor. I quickly sharing again only the camera, because I want to translate it, this document. I hope that the stream don't have any performance problems because of this plan. And I hope the PDF file, which I downloaded, perfect. It's not too large, and it's not too large, luckily, because then it would be difficult to translate it right now. Then I need to first compromise it. So it's currently getting translated. Doesn't take too much time, guys. Thank you very much for your patience, as always. Let me check again how many people are viewing. Okay, still 5 people watching. Amazing. So the translation process is ongoing. And then okay, now I can download. I downloaded it. Let's go back to the release. I will share it right now. And then we jump straight into the hopefully successful translated earnings call. I mean, I stayed here for 1.5 hours now. It's not about minutes, in my opinion, at least. Make it a little bit larger for you. Let me check if that's good. Yeah, that looks great. I think that's working out. So now, crunch time, guys. Let's check again what is going on with the price. I will tell it to you just verbally. The price is plus 2.4%, 2.2%. So not too much development going on over here. Let's jump right into it. As I mentioned, important for me, and the last step before the facts are coming to the surface. First of all, of course, overall revenue and EPS development. Secondly, the customer growth in terms of, especially in terms of Colombia and Mexico. And of course, the sales, the revenue in Brazil. So let's see what is going on. And of course, the credit worthiness, almost forget it, the default rate. Okay, as you can see here, is it working? Let me check this quickly. That looks good. Yeah, it's working, I think. Okay. Year on year, 80.84 million. So before it was, let's check this parallelly. That is the Q1 2023 report. It was 79, so roughly 5 million more. And before it was 31% year-on-year growth, and it's now 28%. Okay, that's in line. Of course, you can't keep the absolute number, but I think that's absolutely fine and absolutely fair. Let's go on to the second number I want to see. And here we can see the default rate, 15 till 90 days. And as I mentioned, 90 days plus 4.3% and 5.9%. Compare this to the older one, which is, where is it? Check this. Here it is, 4.4 and 5.5. Now it's 4.3 and 5.9. Okay, that's in line, I think. When we talk about the average and the mid of both, it's not getting into it's not taking a negative dynamic, in my opinion. So that's for sure fine. And what I want to see as well, of course, I'm very heavily interested in what is going on with the customer base in Mexico and Colombia. So second and third established market of new. And as you can see here, the Mexico growth to 3.6 million, so by 600,000, and to 700,000. Yeah. So actually, so I think Mexico by 600,000 and Colombia by 50,000, if I'm correct. Let's check the numbers of the last report. And if I'm correct, that's not too much. Okay, so 65,000 Colombia and 400,000 in Mexico. And yeah, I mean, it's not too bad, but I mean, compare it, the growth before in Colombia was 200%, now it's 133%. Of course, to keep this momentum, to keep this growth rate year over year, it's extremely difficult, no question about it. But it's definitely lower. And the same when we talk about Mexico, 52% before and now 33%. Actually, guys, that is not convincing me too much. That's not convincing me too heavily. I would say, let me check again quickly if the numbers are already. Let's copy them. Let's share now my my Excel sheet. Yeah, and enter the different numbers to the Excel sheet to let the magic happen. One moment. So where we have it, the over revenue, and didn't check even the over revenue. Man, that's, as I mentioned, 1.9 would be great. Oh, the reported net income, the revenue growth. Okay, so I think it's 1.9. So we already hit the target, actually, guys. So as I mentioned, I expected a satisfying amount of 1.94 billion based on my Excel. Let's see if that's working. Can see my screen, I hope. Yes, so, and let's go a little bit to the left. As you can see here, 1.94. Even if the expectations, the guidance was on 1.5, I expect something like 1.9 would be great. And we achieved now 1900. if I'm not mistaken, which is absolutely fine. And let's check again. Back to the report. And I think that's a huge. Sorry, guys. Maybe I should just comment this as well. I mean, it was expected 1.54 billion revenue was expected, and it's now 1.9 billion. So even if the customer growth rate, maybe I'm wrong, but it's in the first glance, it's not hitting me too positively in Colombia and Mexico. And if we talk about an increasement of this level from 1.54 to 1.9 billion, if I'm catching out the correct number, then it's simply something truly amazing, you know. In my opinion, it's definitely something what we should not take too negatively. Franchise growth, expansion, earnings portfolio. Sorry, maybe I check again the numbers of clients in millions. 83.7. Okay, let me copy in quickly. I start copy quickly. Maybe I share my Excel sheet. I copy quickly the customers in total, which are 83.7. Let's see if I get the right number. I think one too much. Yeah, that should be fine. So, and let's check again already the numbers for the customers. 700,000 in Mexico. Hope you call it like this originally. Hey, sorry, it's quite late, guys. So please, I hope you understand if I'm not working so well anymore. 307, see, that's already wrong. It's Colombia. And 3.6 million in Mexico. Okay, so now we can already check the revenue on this perspective. Let me see if you can see it. One moment. Yeah, perfectly, it's working out like it was planned. Okay, now it's fine, I guess. Okay, so what you can see here as well is great, of course, because the revenue per subscriber increased. Of course, some inflation is going on, but I think that's, of course, as well, it's a result of the upselling and crossing by rolling out new products and services, what we have seen at the news article at the beginning of the stream. And the difference, of course, Q on Q, Q1, Q2 is not that large compared to difference year on year, but 24% more revenue per subscriber. So per subscriber. Okay, that is not based on hims and hers. I need to change this. Per customer. Is save this file. So is that something really strong? No doubt about this. Can you see this? I hope you can see it. Wait, I need to zoom out a little bit more, otherwise you can't see it, I think. Okay, now it's working. Perfect. Sorry, guys. So 24% roughly, 23.5 year-on-year growth, revenue per customer. If the data is correct, that's definitely some word. Let me check again, please, on the chat. Not that you try me something different. 7 viewers. Welcome, all of you. A lot of option. What strike price and expiration date? Strike price. Okay. So you're talking about your entry prices, whatever. Let me check again. Parallelly, I will go on soon about what is going on with the stock price. So 5.4% plus, 5% plus. Great. I mean, as I mentioned, okay, I was a little bit maybe too accurate, a little bit, too negatively when we talk about the Colombia and Mexico customer base. Maybe it's even good, but what what is definitely keep the momentum is over revenue, which is a strong beat by expectation 1.5 and the result 1.9. So roughly 360 million more this quarter. That's simply amazing. And let's go back to the sheet and check out together So I hope you can see it again. Yeah, perfect. Check out together the customer development based on the 3 different sales markets, Brazil, Mexico, and Colombia. And as we can see here, originally it was year on year, yeah, as they stated already, 33% and 122%. So it's definitely getting a lowered momentum. But guys, that's complaining on the high level, I think. So I would love to see higher numbers over here for sure. I mean, I would be very happy with 40% roughly, just from my feeling, from my gut. And here as well, 150, 160%. But important is they have already a good fundament. They have a good base. Let's check again maybe in the report. How much, is it stated somewhere here? How much percentage they're covering by doing this. But okay, we had before 50 millions roughly in Colombia. So if they have now a customer base of 600,000, okay, it's not too much. It's still growing. Let's keep it like this. And maybe that's not counting too much. I think the Brazil market should be solid, should be a reliable source of income, of sales. The upselling and the products should be accepted by the customer base. And I think that's definitely the case currently, that we're talking about very positive outcome and positive numbers. And now again, so I think we can tickle this box. Revenue-wise, it's looking good. No matter if we talk about the total, which is almost on the expectations I have set with 1.94 billions. 1.9 billions is amazing. The customer base in the different markets is looking solid. Even 4 million more clients in Brazil. Let's check out as well what is here the development, 4.5%. Okay, I mean, in regard of, or according under the conditions that, considering the conditions that that's quite an established market for Brazil to grow again with 5.5% quarter on quarter, and year on year with roughly 27%. Nothing to complain about. And that's of course just the customer base growth, and talking about the products, and on the long term or on the midterm, the interest rate and the effect if they lower it, and hope the economy stays stable and solid. I think we're talking about good stuff. Okay, and now let's go into the credit worthiness. Again, we can check out somewhere. It's here illustrated by a chart. Was it here? Yes, I think we are right. 4.3%. And another 5.9%. I'm not mistaken, if I'm not wrong. Yeah, and as I mentioned, that's absolutely in line. I think that's nothing too negative. Look, guys, I don't want to talk any bullshit. I think people who are very experienced, very competent, and experts basically, even for them to evaluate and rate results and companies in the financial sector is somehow Champions League. And as I mentioned, you don't get here some professional guy, whatever. I'm just an amateur. I'm a regular dude named Julian, and try my best for you and for myself to have some kind of financial reflection going on. And I just want to see some kind of development and sometimes more some kind of stability. And when I see this now, for me, it looks stable. It looks stable, and I'm satisfied for sure. And what I want to see now again as well is, let me check the pricing. So we can tickle the first box, credit worthiness. We can check the revenue overall box. We can check the tickle the box. Yeah, it's correct. Tickle the what we can't tickle at the moment is the EPS box. Yeah, the profit box. And so I need to go in a little bit more deeply, and we check the growth development. So 5% plus, guys. I think that's statement enough. But let's go into the PDF. Hope it's working. Let's check if that's working or not. Okay, so we are back in. Let me check again as well the stream. Okay, still some audio is going on. Guys, all of you, welcome. Thank you very much for your patience. Thank you very much for joining the stream. I do my best to entertain you a little bit. As I mentioned, my position is roughly 8,500 euros or 9,500 US dollars. That's my position, second largest one. I will give you definitely some, or very likely definitely, some insight of my portfolio, my stock portfolio in the upcoming weeks. It's just a matter of time. Okay, you can see the translation is not everywhere working so well. Revenue, adjusted net income. Okay, let's see this. I think that's something. Neutral methods, adjusted net. Yeah, it's always adjusted. Of course, that's something what you need to see with Virgin. But guys, come on. So quarter on over quarter. How much is it? 20. So roughly 40. 20, 80, so 40%, 40% plus, 40% plus, which is amazing. Just quarter over quarter. And when we talk about the year-on-year base, yeah, it's 2,000% or whatever. Of course, if you have a background of a growth company, that is nothing too nothing which you should put too much weight on in your due diligence, in my opinion. But yeah, let's check again some others. Total credit portfolio. Let's go again maybe to the first numbers, to the head numbers. I'm not sure if somewhere, I think they are not stating here the guidance for the next quarter. I'm not sure if I'm correctly. So let me go a little bit slower through the numbers. Net income, we got this, yes. Yeah, let's 18% year-on-year increase average monthly revenue per active customer. That's simply, in my opinion, that's strong. That's just strong. And I'm not 100% sure because I'm not a Latin American citizen, but when I think about that, very likely they're not rolling out their product portfolio simultaneously in all markets, more stronger in Brazil. And I guess they starting a little bit more down to earth with a more restricted portfolio of services and products in Colombia and Mexico. Then even there is so much more potential, and even of course in the Brazilian market, so much more potential for up and cross selling. So, and compared with hopefully economy which will somehow not suffer in the future, will be stable, economically and political wise, that would be amazing. Customer engagement through multi-product platform. Okay, that's great. Franchise growth. Earnings portfolio, expansion of interest earning portfolio. Okay. Okay, great. Of course, even under high interest rates, increased in new participation. mainly low cost to serve. Okay, guys, I'm checking. In my opinion, the revenue side, the customer side, the creditworthiness default rate side is absolutely in line. And let's check again one more time that the price is showing basically the same. Wait, I'm sharing my screen. I hope it's working. So 4%, over 4% plus. It was very likely the longest stream in my career, in my young career, of course, but maybe it will be the longest one in my whole life. Who knows? So I think actually regularly with this amount of time, which we have spent now together, you can cover even a few more stocks and companies. In this case, we just covered new. Please, if you like this, if it was fine for you, this stream, don't miss to join tomorrow. As I mentioned, Stone Cold, Stonje, how you call it locally, as far as I know, will be the subject of tomorrow. I hope this time I will not miss the timing. I will set up later on the call very likely before I go to bed. The revenue side is covered very well. Net income is going into the right direction. Actually, I can't tell you. I'm not sure if I'm too dumb somehow, but I would love that I see the results here because then I would tell you how much the earnings per share has developed. But I'm quite confident if all the other numbers are right and the product portfolio is going to the right direction, I think new definitely not miss here as well. That's just my assumption. Who knows? Anyway, guys, I'm for today. Before my outro, before saying goodbye, let me check one more time the comments, and I'm so happy that you joined the stream. Really, that's no joke. You really set me some power over here. Mark, thank you very much for subscription. For subscribing. I highly appreciate this, and as I mentioned, I highly appreciate that you somehow reacted over here. Maybe without you, I would already switch off the stream for today. It's moving in the right direction, but not aggressive as I would like to be. Gary, also, the overmarket has been acting very lately. Nevertheless, if tomorrow during the first 3 minutes goes up in price quickly, you might be able to either make money, strike price per break even. You're gonna have to be quick. Yeah, man, Gary, thank you very much for your opinion, for your comments. That's great that you guys somehow create a community and try to support each other. This is exactly how it should be. Everyone has his limitations. I as well. I can only tell to give you a small roundup. Revenue was fine. Net income looks good. Customer base is growing. Expansion is going on. The credit worthiness is working into the right direction and developing fine. I'm, for at least from my side, I'm an happy, satisfied stock owner and shareholder. I hope strongly that in tomorrow Stone Cold will step into the footprints and can cover as well the expectations and guidance. And then for me at least the earnings season is almost done, almost finished. I'm very excited, honestly, to tell you that to see what will be with Nvidia. Not because I'm too deeply into this AI business and too interested in it, but it was just simply crazy what they somehow accomplished and what they guided at the last quarter. And yeah, very interested to see what they will announce next upcoming Monday. Is it upcoming Monday? I think it's August 23rd. Upcoming Wednesday. Okay, I think it's upcoming Wednesday that they will announce their results. Nvidia, let me check again on investing if that's correct what I'm telling you. I would love actually to do a stream over here, but honestly, it's not that easy always to manage in late hours. It's 11:50 p.m. in Germany, so almost midnight. yeah, so next Wednesday, Nvidia will get released. Just very curious about figuring out what is going on here, if they really can cover the 11 billion crazy revenue forecast guidance and the doubled up EPS forecast. We will see. News still stable, but I mean, who followed me last week at the Hims and Hers financial results release, it was the same. We have been already 15% up, and somehow when the market started to open, 8% or something like this minus. So that was as well some kind of an experience. But yeah, that's what makes this business and the stock market so interesting, in my opinion. So a sense of Gary, you're asking my name. I'm Julian, actually. You can find it as well in my channel information. Julian is my name. And yeah, just call me Julian if you like, Gary, because of course I have your first name as well. However, guys, I round up already a few times or summed up all the aspects. I'm very satisfied. I'm after 2-hour stream, which is crazy. If I knew before that we will stream now for 2 hours, that maybe I would not do it again. Even if I can be very happy again that the results are fine and there was always some audience going on. We had even eight viewers at the same time, which is, I don't even know how you find my channel. You can write me, if you like, you can write me how you found my channel or this stream. It's crazy, man. I'm impressed and highly appreciate this amount of viewers and each of you. Thank you very much for joining. Thank you very much for watching. I hope you will join as well tomorrow, Stone Cold Call. And I'm very happy for you if you are an owner of NU, that if you're owning it, that the price is rising for now at least. Let's see what will be tomorrow the case after market opening. And if you are not an owner at the moment, a shareholder of NU, maybe you are interested in now. It's, again, no financial advice. There's no guarantee for correctness. Do your own assessment, your own due diligence, your own evaluation. It's your own money, your own life. And it's up to you what you're doing with your dollars and dineros. Do you call it dineros in Brazil? No, Brazil real, we already had it. With your Brazil real, if you invest from the local spot. Thank you very much for subscribing, Mark. Thank you very much for subscribing, Gary. I'm heavily looking forward for the next episode of Crunch Time here on the channel of A Sense of Capital, which will be tomorrow. Let me see when the results will get announced. And looking forward to stay in contact with you guys. Thank you so much to each of you. Have a great night later on, and yeah, see you next time. All the best. Bye bye.